Hello and welcome to More Movies Weekly, episode 10. This is the podcast that likes to talk about films and have a damn good laugh while we do it. My name's Greg Fisher. His name's David Roberts. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Just about getting through this intro, as you can tell. So we got a lot to talk about in this episode, so let's get straight on with it. Okay, so this week we have been watching a fantastic film from 2019 called The Lighthouse. It's directed by Robert Eggers. It stars Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe as two lighthouse keepers in the early 20th century, somewhere in New England, not specified exactly where. This is a crazy film, is it not, Dave?
Yeah, this film is bonkers.
Bonkers is the word.
Bonkers.
From start to finish. Very unique, very interesting. A24 films, of course.
Love them.
As we've seen plenty from them. And they like to take chances and do different things. And this is definitely something really unique and mind-boggling.
That's exactly what it is. Mind-boggling and unique. As you said, A24, they love to do these, take a chance to do these sort of more kind of independent films in a way, but they're done on a grand scale.
Yeah.
Robert Eggers, he hasn't done a hell of a lot so far. He's kind of new to the scene, but for my money, he's one of the best upcoming directors around at the moment. He also did The Witch, as we know it, The Witch, a few years before, I think 2016, with Anya Taylor-Joy. That was an excellent film. But yeah, I'd seen The Lighthouse before. I thought, my God, this is just such an amazing film. I've got to get Dave to watch it because it's so bonkers. Because it's so mad, I really wanted to know what you were going to make of it. So now you've seen it. There we go.
I think it's one of the films as well. It might take me a few more watches to...
to get everything from it.
Yeah, fully get through everything because there's so much packed into this. This is... apparently, he's been working on this film for years with his brother, Max Eggers.
Max Eggers, that's it.
They wanted to do this first, but they managed to get The Witch done, so they did that, and this kind of got put till afterwards.
Yeah.
But you can tell that there's a lot of care and attention being put into this as a project because it's so many layers to it, and just
layers, waves,
leagues
under the sea, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is a film for film lovers. In my opinion, it kind of crosses a few genres in terms of it's listed as drama, fantasy, horror. It's definitely got elements of all three of those things and more, I would say, there's some great comedy in there as well. And that's one of the things from the outset that I always thought about it, that, you get a couple of minutes into it, a few minutes in, then introduces the characters. And before you know it, there's farts breaking out left, right and center out of Willem Dafoe's posterior, And that to me tells me, straight away that, all right, it's going to get pretty heavy in here. Don't take it too seriously. Remember to have a good laugh. Fart jokes will always be funny to certain type of minds. There's two guys. One's a young guy known as Winslow, and another one's an old guy known as Wake, or Wick. I don't know how he pronounces it a bit funny, doesn't he? I think it's Thomas Wake is Willem Dafoe, and they're stuck on this rock together, manning this lighthouse, which they used to do in the old days, because obviously it's all automated now, but in the old days you used to have people upkeep of the building, make sure the light shone for the ships, etc. And they're just stuck on this rock together for almost like, seems like an eternity in a way, because, it's cabin fever setting in big time, isn't it? These are two people at odds. One of them's like done it all before. He's been there for a long time. Pattinson comes in and he's like the new guy. So he's got to, basically fit in with the regime that Dafoe is already used to. And Dafoe beasts him quite a bit over all sorts of stuff. And he plays this like really salty old sea dog, doesn't he? That's just so peculiar, so strange. And Pattinson's kind of a bit shifty, sort of younger guy that's like, he takes it for a while, but then he starts to rebel against this kind of authority of Willem Dafoe. And we go from there. It becomes quite an intense relationship, does it not?
It does. And But they're both fantastic, absolutely phenomenal. We know Willem Dafoe is fantastic anyway. He has been for years.
Yeah.
Of course, we mentioned him last week, To Live and Die in LA. But
that's right.
Robert Pattinson. I've been enjoying a lot more of his stuff recently because he's obviously been in a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this was the one that kind of really started this new regime of great roles for him, and now I've finally seen it, and it is astonishing performance.
It's great. It really is great.
To think this is the guy from Twilight, Well,
this is it. People know him from Twilight. They maybe know him from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But in recent times, he's been doing some excellent work. Obviously, he was in Tenet. We enjoyed him in that. He was great in Good Time, the Safdie brothers film. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's fantastic. But like you say, The Lighthouse is the quintessential performance to date. He's, this film is about performances. I mean, it's got a lot more going for it than just the performances because it's a visually very striking film. But without two fantastic actors in these roles, you wouldn't be able to pull this film off. And I think they're both perfectly cast, actually.
They are. And it does take two actors, exactly. I think it's very important because the script of the film is very... it's on the one hand based on like Edgar Allan Poe and those kind of poets, and
sort of gothic horror style,
gothic horror, Herman Melville, H.P. Lovecraft, that kind of thing. And on the other hand, there's moments of monologue really in there, and they're almost like Shakespearean speeches that they're performing, without the right actors for it, it doesn't work really. But they pull it off, and it's so intense.
Yeah, it's like hilarious at the start because obviously they sit down to dinner. Dinner is like a big thing because it's the only time they're sitting down together once all the chores are done. And at the start, Willem Dafoe encourages Pattinson to drink. And he doesn't want to at first. He's like, no, I don't drink. You don't know why, for whatever reason, but he's like, I'm staying off the grog. But once he starts to take it at Willem Dafoe's insistence, you've got to have some. That's when things start to get a little bit more heated. It's a kind of a bit like when I was talking about Another Round the other week, which we did a review for. Again, we'll link that below in the description. But that was the kind of thing, a little bit of alcohol at first is okay. It loosens you up. You start to have a good time. And once that consumption level gets higher and higher, and the more you take of it, the more things start to then come apart at the seams. And that's certainly the case with The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I mean, alcoholism is definitely a strong theme in there in terms of it's like a descent for them as they descend, and that's part of the descent, and kind of, is that the reason? It's obviously a lot of different reasons. But you can, even by the time they're moonshining.
I think it fuels the reason, doesn't it? The reason already exists for the descent, but adding the alcohol to it is like fanning the flames.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, you talk about it's very enclosed. Yeah. Psychological film like Cabin Fever, that they're kind of locked together, and the film's in black and white, and it's done in it's technically a 1.19 to 1 ratio, but it's almost 1 to 1.
Close enough 1 to 1. I mean, 1 to 1 squared off black and white films. Yeah. Who does that nowadays? Only the best filmmakers. That's who.
That's it. But it gives that kind of lock because you can't see the periphery. It does feel like you're boxed in. Just like they're boxed in, and it's a very claustrophobic film. Yeah, and it's interesting because I was reading up, and apparently the cinematographer said the idea of widescreen only came about in the 50s, and we wanted to take people further back than that because this is meant to be turn of the century.
Yeah, no, it never occurred to me. That's really cool.
So they actually used a Panavision XL2 with a 1930s Baltar lens, so it's stuff from
that period. I didn't know that either. That's fascinating because it's a fantastic picture. Sorry.
It is, yeah. It's a fantastic picture, and it looks like the time, doesn't it? It does. There is a feel to it, Yeah,
exactly. And this is again another thing I wanted to say to you about it having a hell of a lot of atmosphere in this film straight away. I mean, the first few scenes, they arrive on the island and then they're both looking into the camera, like breaking the fourth wall. And it's like almost like a Wes Anderson thing, like, he's like introducing the characters. But then it cuts to their perspective, as in what Pattinson is looking at. And it's that ship disappearing into the fog. And straight away, it's like, oh my God, this film has got atmosphere. Straight away, you're in there with it. And you got that foghorn sound in the background, like, ominous sound is constantly going. And
the sound was immense. I mean, I kept on thinking my phone was vibrating as I was watching it. And it was just the audio. Yeah, it's because it's so like low frequency.
Yeah.
And it really rumbles underneath you.
Yeah.
And it's really discerning. And it kept on confusing me. I was like, my phone go? No, it's the film again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive.
Stranded.
That's what I said.
Well, I thought you said relief was coming.
If we can wait out the storm.
That's one of my favourite scenes in it, where he's like, they're both really drunk. They're really intensely arguing over stuff. And then for some reason, out of all the things that all the insults they've traded, the one that Willem Dafoe's character takes most umbrage at is the fact that Pattinson insults his cooking.
Yeah.
And he's like, say you like me lobster. And he's like, it's all shit. Everything you feed me is a bag of shit. And he's like, hark! And he does all this craziness. And then right at the end of the scene, to diffuse all that tension, he just says, oh, have it your way. I liked your lobster.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay.
And it is. It's crazy because you got the personal relationships, you got the kind of mythological kind of crazy psycho stuff going on. It's very much the horror, and all that. It's a very vintage feel to it. But then it's also tinged in almost homoeroticism and the phallic imagery of the Lighthouse.
Yeah, of course.
There's lots of we talk about the farting, but there's loads of other excremental parts of it where he's masturbating and things just dripping through drains and stuff that are all very very strange. Apparently, they were going to have what the director called a very juvenile shot. They were going to have the Lighthouse, and then they were going to do a match cut to Patterson's erect penis.
Oh.
It got cut because the financiers said no. But
who needs to see that?
No, but too much. But
yeah, totally too much and juvenile, like they say. But there's definitely that element to it. There's a lot of sexual tension because this is the whole thing about the old idea about sailors at sea all that time together with no women about, or people in prison and stuff, and they get pushed to that point of having so much sexual tension they end up becoming close with one another. And there's definitely an element of that between these two in this film, which is
when they're wrestling around and stuff on the floor and stuff. It gets very,
and then that turns into a fight.
Yeah,
and Jesus,
it's the line between, isn't it?
It is very much. In a way, that sort of reminded me of Brokeback Mountain. That they end up, they start scuffling and rumbling and tumbling, and then that ends up to becoming intimacy. And there's an element of that about it with the Lighthouse here that is unsettling, but at the same time, to a kind of deranged mind, it's also quite hilarious, if you ask me.
It is, it's a bit of funny, it's a bit of an Oedipus complex going on, really, because of the Adrian, it's sort of kind of a daddy thing. I mean, even a bit at the end with, I'll just say, the dog leash.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit, and but it's never like, oh, they're definitely that or anything like that. It's just this tinge of layer on top of all the kind of crazy other stuff that's going on, and it's like, well, what's real? What's not?
Yeah.
What's alcohol infused? What's because they've been eating stuff?
I
Because
think Dafoe even says to Pattinson at one point, you're not even here, or you're just imagining all this. You're probably in some wasteland in Canada, frozen, talking to yourself like a madman. And there's an element there you think, that's possible. It is possible.
It is.
I'm just saying it's possible.
I'm just saying a coincidence is possible.
But a fantastic film. I recommend anyone who loves, crazy cinema to go and give it a watch. It won't be for everyone. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, very much so. Very much worth watching. It is art cinema, as you say. It's not for everyone, but anyone who loves that kind of stuff, go check it.
So, as always, we like to have a look at what's been happening in the world of film, movies, cinema this week. Dave, anything cropped up on your radar that you want us to cover?
Yeah, well, I suppose one of the things is this is something that's been going on for the last few weeks. They've been drip feeding information out about the Knives Out 2 cast.
Cool.
They've been leaking who's going to come out, so we thought we'd save them up until we had a substantial number.
Yeah, that's it. We want to put a cast together ourselves. Exactly.
That's it. So they've started announcing names for the last few weeks. So first up, we've got Dave Bautista.
Excellent. And I think it's worth mentioning about Dave as well that we were talking about the fact that, a lot of these guys, like wrestlers like Hulk Hogan or something like that, they were good wrestlers and whatnot, but not the greatest actors. Whereas Dave Bautista is one of them. He's got some chops. He's pretty good as an actor. Yeah, I kind of enjoy him.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic. Also, we've got Ed Norton is going to be in it. He's one of my favourite actors. So.
He's not one of mine, but I'm not. He's not like I don't dislike the guy a hell of a lot, but I just don't really rate him. But he might be great in it.
We've got Janelle Monáe.
Don't know.
Which I hadn't heard of, but she's a singer actor. Apparently, she's got some big hits in America.
Cool with the kids.
Cool with the kids. She was in Moonlight, apparently.
I have seen her then.
She did a voice in Lady and the Tramp as well, and she's been in some other stuff. So
cool.
We've got Catherine Hahn is going to be in it.
Okay, cool.
Done a bit. We've got Kate Hudson.
Wow.
Bride Wards.
I haven't seen her in anything for ages.
No, it's been a while since she's been in something. We've got Leslie Odom Jr.
Yeah, cool.
Who was, of course, in One Night in Miami, which
fantastic.
We reviewed.
He was Sam Cooke, wasn't he?
Yes, he was Sam Cooke. We'll put a link in the description for my review of that.
Cool.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is back. He was an uncredited cameo in the original.
I wonder if he's playing the same character.
Is it the same character, or does he get more of a role in this one? It sounds like it's going to be more.
Either way, I hope so. Even if he's playing the same character or a new one, I hope he's in it more. I do like him. He's good. He's good.
Absolutely, and of course Daniel Craig's back as the detective.
Noir Blanc.
So yeah, Pat's cast already. It's filling out.
But a lot of those people in it are kind of like a lot of them are new talent. That, not everybody will know straight away. Whereas the last one, it was Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, older people, older actors, but big names, people that have been like legends over the years. Whereas this seems a bit more.
I think it's one of them. They usually get the kind of the big icons of the screen last kind of thing. They'll play a bit of a lesser role, but they'll bring the gravitas at the end. So be able to go grab like a Michael Caine or someone like that, and
exactly.
Bring him in. The other big news about the Knives Out 2 was that Tommy Wiseau has been very upset that he hasn't been cast in the film.
I am actually. I'd rather have him than Edward Norton. He's a better actor.
No, it would be funny to see him in it.
It would, yeah. He's a strange character. I've never seen in its entirety The Room.
It's something to behold.
I haven't seen that Franco making of.
I haven't seen
fictionalization.
Yeah,
but I know about Tommy Wiseau, and there's enough to know about him to bring a smile to my face. He's a strange character, but I wouldn't be against seeing him something like that. It'd be quite a novelty, really. He could be the murder victim.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, better luck in Knives Out 3. Maybe we'll start a campaign. Tommy Wiseau for Knives Out 3.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
So also they've been talking about this week a Highlander reboot, the 1986 film with Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery, Clancy Brown, kind of a cult classic. I really loved it. I grew up with it, and there could be only one.
There can be only one.
A mainstay of my upbringing in the 80s, so I really like that. Have you heard much about this remake?
Yeah, very disappointed that they're going to remake it, to be honest, because you see the original's so good, the Queen soundtrack and Christopher Lambert. The sequels were all shit.
Dog shit.
The TV series was shit.
God, yeah. But some people enjoyed them as well, though. It's like, the second film, Highlander 2, was awful. I think it was called The Quickening or something, and it brought Sean Connery's character back, even though he got his head chopped off in the first one, and it was like futuristic, and they were flying around on silly little like hoverboards, and it was just awful. Highlander 3 was not too bad. Highlander 3 would have been a good Highlander 2, to be honest, because the conceit in that was that there are some more immortals left, but they were buried in some mountain, and they managed to break out of the cave, and therefore there's a few more of them to dust off. But yeah, the series, it was popular with some people. I didn't watch much of it. By the time that came around, it was the 90s and stuff, and I was probably watching some other dog shit instead. But the only thing that I really love about the Highlander franchise is the first movie. So to hear that they were remaking it, it kind of made me think, another one, another classic film that I love that they're attempting to remake.
Yeah, and to me, they'll just ruin it. So it's Lionsgate are supposed to be making it. But the worst news of it all, I think we all both agree on, is that
I know what you're going to say.
Henry Cavill to play him.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't like him.
No, neither do I.
I don't think he's a good actor. I think he's a bit of a bozo, to be honest. A very good-looking bozo, of course, but that doesn't cut it, does it? You know, I mean, we posted about Highlander the other day on Twitter, and somebody said, "I'd rather have seen Cavill do some more Superman films," and I can see that. I didn't love the Cavill Superman films, but you know, if he did some more and they tried to, you know, at least come up with one or two good Superman movies with him, he was a good. He was a good actor to play that role, but I know I'm not super keen on him. What do you think at home? Do you like Henry Cavill? Is he popular? Are we just totally missing the mark here? I mean, people love The Witcher. I never watched it because I never played the games, so I wasn't really into it. But there's just something about him. I just think he's just a bit, you know. And
punchable face.
All that GQ interview stuff with the Me Too thing, and he was like, well, it just makes me afraid to chase women anymore. So you just think, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
He's a tit.
He's a tit.
And he's got a face I want to punch. So
yeah 2x4. What's his name? Rowdy Roddy Piper style.
Jacksaw Jim Duggan, that is, yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, yeah.
You've been drinking. Winslow, you've been drinking. Wow.
You know me, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, tough guys.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. Well, I'll probably be a hard pass. You know, I'm always glad to be wrong. And if they bring out a trailer, despite my venom for Henry Cavill, if they bring out a trailer and it looks like, ooh, then I'll watch it. But I'm not really interested.
No.
Talking of reboots, have you heard about they're going to be doing another Willy Wonka film?
Willy Wonka, yes.
Yeah.
Prequel about the story about the young Willy Wonka, which is just...
Do you care?
No.
I don't.
I just
In
don't
fact,
get why
I don't
doing
care
it.
about any Willy Wonka except for Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah.
Anyone else is a Willy Wonka.
I wasn't keen on the new Willy Wonka they did. I thought it was a bit meh.
It was strange. It was it had its moments, but it was a very strange film.
We're talking about dragging things out of old films that don't need to be done. This is dragging something that why the hell does this need to exist? One more
example of get some fresh fucking inspiration, get some imagination, Hollywood. You know, and there we go. That's where we're talking about the Lighthouse. There's no other film like that.
No.
And if there is, you've never heard of it because it's 100 years old or something. But that's adventurous. It's taking a risk. Of course, not everyone's going to love it, but it's a gripping film, and anyone who does see it will never forget having seen it. And then, you know, and then there's talented actors like Timothée Chalamet getting attached to projects like this, and you think, come on, dude, what are you doing?
That's it. I say I'm disappointed because he's obviously been cast as Wonka in this, and I've been watching over the last few months pretty much all of his catalogue. I've got through most of it.
He's good.
And I love him. I think he's brilliant, really talented actor.
First
amazing
thing
stuff.
I seen him in properly was The King, the Netflix film, and I was like, that I'm sold. This guy's great. It's really good. A good film, and it was a good performance.
He's done
for such a young guy. He's very. He seems to be very focused and very on it.
Yeah, and just a variety of performances. He's choosing really interesting projects and all this. And I was like, these are all great. I'm really enjoying what he's doing.
I can't wait to see him in The French Dispatch, the forthcoming Wes Anderson film. Another film I'm incredibly excited to see. We talked last week on the podcast about all the new releases that are coming out in 2021. That was one that we didn't actually mention, but we should have, because I am so excited to see that film. I love Wes Anderson, and he keeps getting better and better and better, even though I think, how can he top that? And Grand Budapest Hotel was so good, I thought he's never going to do a film as good as that. And then I saw the trailer for The French Dispatch, and I was like, eating my words.
He's topping himself again. Yeah, he is very good at that.
Well, hello there, chaps.
I'm also excited. Obviously, Timothée Chalamet is going to be in June, so I mean, that's coming out of the year. So
great cast in there as well. I think he's perfectly cast actually in that role.
So yeah, very strange that he's doing something that sounds shit to me.
Again, maybe it'll be great. Maybe we'll be eating our words again when it comes out. We'll go, oh, actually, that was some good Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Yes, the danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing.
So, as always, we like to tell you about what we've been doing this week on our website, moremovies.co.uk. So we've got some posts that have gone out. As always, we've got our weekly history post, which is This Week in Film History, which covers this week in film history, as it says on the tin. So it's full of births, deaths, events that have happened in the movie industry throughout the years in this week. So that's kind of interest. If you like that kind of thing, go and check it out. Link below in the description.
We also had our reaction to Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. So that will be a link in the description below. So go and check that out. I'm
looking forward to that one. Also, we brought out an article of our top 5 Richard Attenborough films, one of our favourite British actors and filmmakers. He's known probably primarily as an actor, but he did direct over 12 feature films. So we've listed off our top 5 there. Go and check that out if you like Richard Attenborough. He is a British institution, I should point out.
Absolutely, absolute legend. Love the guy. Great article there again. And I've just done a review of Army of the Dead on our Film in 5. So that's up on the website and on our YouTube channel. Link in the description below as well for that.
Fantastic. And why not join us on social media, on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and all those things, at More Movies For You, where we do the movie of the day, for example, which are things like this.
Today's movie of the day is the perfect post-apocalyptic dystopian action film, starring Mel Gibson, music by Brian May from Queen, and directed by master filmmaker George Miller. I am, of course, talking about Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. You'd be mad to miss it. You can be Beethoven. I'll be back. Today's movie of the day stars Tom Cruise. It's called Oblivion, and that's exactly where you'll want to send it when you've seen it. Absolute turkey.
And we've just recorded a reaction to the new trailer for The Eternals, which is another Marvel Studio film. So you can check that out next week. Subscribe to the channel here. Press the bell icon for notifications so you know when we're bringing out another video. We have stuff coming out all week, so come and join us on YouTube. So there we go, Dave. I think we've got through another episode, and we'll have to leave it there until next week. What do you say, sir?
Yeah, that's it. Jammed through it, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more to talk about next week on More Movies Weekly.
Well, that's it for another video. What did you think? Leave us a comment below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe right here on YouTube. In the meantime, you can check out some of our reviews and articles over on our website, moremovies.co.uk. And why not join us on social media at More Movies For You across the board, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. And if you want to support us, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com. Links in the description below. And to check out some more of our filmtastic content, click on one of the buttons on screen now.